This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Visit the podcasts page for show notes and links. Remember to like, share, and comment to help me grow. Henshin Inspection presents Going Ultra, episode 34. Power attracts power. This time I will be analyzing Ultraman Z episode 21, which is entitled D4. It originally aired November 21st, 2020. The writer is Satoshi Suzuki. The director is Masayoshi Takesue. Second time I encountered that name, I said it right this time. Anyway, moving on to what was ultra bad this episode. Using the beam at the end to stop the dimensional collapse didn't make sense to me. It seems silly. How about use one of those barriers that Z can make and press it up against the collapse until it's stabilized and goes back to normal? That makes a lot more sense to me. What was ultra cool was seeing King Joe and Z fighting back to back against the growing ranks of Kelbim. Kelbim, yeah, that's what they're called. It was a lot of fun. It reminded me of this is so stupid. One of my favorite movies is Robin Hood Men in Tights, and Dave Chappelle and Carrie Elwes are Robin Hood and Achu, and Robin Hood whispers to him like, "You wouldn't by any chance know praying mantis, would you?" He's like, "Praying mantis? You're looking at him." And then they go into this, kung fu fighting stance against these against these knights or whatever. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. But just, the Kelbim fight was really cool. Moving on to the ultra good. Hibikura and the storage crew resisting and disobeying orders to deploy and use, to deploy and use D4 was interesting. Well, I think I'll get into the ultra deep and I'll talk for a few minutes after that. The ultra deep thing I thought in this episode was, Mother Kelbim and her babies are drawn in by the D4 test. Hibikura says power attracts power. They want to use D4, that being the larger, defense organization, but it endangers them because of the collateral damage, that the attack brought on, because of the collateral damage and then the attack that it brings on from all these, dangerous kaiju. It's a bit of a circular problem. Does the power of Ultraman not cause the same issue because it isn't from a kaiju? What does this mean outside of the show? And I'm kind of going to talk about that with my question, which is, if power attracts power, then how do the weak ever defend themselves from the strong who wish to harm them or others? I think that creates a bigger problem that you have to discuss. Gosh, how am I going to do this? So, the sword from the Hitman kaiju from an episode or two ago it's a horn, but it looks like a sword. Anyway, that thing was used for the dimensional attack. It's, I'm remembering it was from Yapool, but it was called something else. But that's as far as my memory goes. It was the Ace episode. Anyway, that kaiju. What was it, like the Terabad monster, the ultra bad, I think that's what they called it. Ultra bad Hitman monster, so-and-so. Anyway, but his horn is turned into a weapon. It's so complicated because Yuka has utilized a part of a kaiju from one of the first episodes in order to go inside of Wyndham, I think, and that makes Wyndham charge up a lot faster. And I think she adapted the technology from that back then, and it's still being used to charge up Wyndham and make him, charge more quickly, because Sevenger had a certain charging time, and Wyndham's was more powerful, but Wyndham took way longer to charge. Or maybe it was King Joe that needed that, but I don't think King Joe needed that, because King Joe was scrapped from the space robot, basically. Which, I gotta be honest, it bugs me a little bit in the last episode, now in retrospect, that they say Baco built King Joe, but when really he built the other ones, and he, reverse engineered or whatever, the kaiju. They just made it sound like King Joe was his idea from the beginning, and I don't think that's supposed to be true in the series, so that kind of bugged me. Anyway, if you gain power, and it attracts people to challenge your power, and then it sparks this cycle of violence or whatever, then nobody should be powerful. Then nobody should gain any power or any strength ever, and we should just all lie down and let bad people kill us, or let bad people attack and kill each other. That stuff doesn't really make sense to me. So I'm answering the question now. What do the weak do? I don't know. The show's not answering that question, and I think Hibikura's right that power attracts power, but it's an incomplete formulation, and I wonder if it's something they're going to finish off and talk about more in the show, or if it's just a wrong-headed notion from the writer or from the producers or maybe even the director, and it's an incomplete worldview. Because I could spout off, and I could spout off on blowback and what having a certain position of strength does for nation states and whatnot, or individuals. I could do that for a long time, but I don't really want to do that here because I want to talk about just the Ultraman. I don't know. I got nothing else to say. Those Kelbim were really cool. Cracking from those little eggs, those meteorites or whatever, that was super dope. I love that. It reminded me of Gremlins a little, the way they reproduced in those little balls that shot off of Gizmo or the Gremlins themselves. And cracking out of there was cool. I loved how big Mother Kelbim was and that she was sending all her kids onto the planet. Z fighting her was super cool with Delta Rise Claw. You got to watch out for that Delta variant kaiju. It's gonna get you real bad. Of Ultraman Z, that's what I'm talking about. Delta variant of Ultraman Z. You got the Alpha, which is I guess the normal or whatever. Anyway, I don't want to belabor that, but I don't know. My answer to the question is. I think it's an incomplete thing because the way the show presents it, it's power is bad because power attracts powerful enemies. And they said specifically Kelbim, or Hibikura knew that Kelbim seeks a powerful enemy, which, I don't know. I think the seeking of a powerful enemy might be a Japanese thing. I'm being culturally insensitive here because like Black or Greymon from Digimon Season 2. Oh, I love that show. So good. This is controversial, I would almost not watch Season 1 and then just watch Season 2 in part because I love the Season 1 cast and the way it incorporates them and gives them a mentorship role and like changes things or puts things on a different perspective from Season 1 is so good. I'm sure if I'd never seen Season 1 and I only saw Season 2, it wouldn't be half as good, but it's almost twice as good because of having seen Season 1 and the way they interplay with each other. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm going to get into ranking this episode. I give it a 4 out of 5. I've been doing that a lot. It's a good show. I have ranked it lower before, but this was really good. Ultraman Z21, D4, packs a 1-2 punch of exciting action and philosophical drama. Storage's crew questions orders even as they fight the increasing wave of kaiju. The stakes are high for Japan and for our heroes as they struggle to do the right thing, and I loved watching it. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say. I had enough tangents and waxing about different things that I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And gosh, I enjoyed this episode. I'd love to hear your feedback on this question of power and what it all means and what exactly they're trying to say in the show, because I don't quite get it. I don't think they're quite doing a good enough job of presenting their argument, or maybe they're presenting their argument. Well, I think the argument is fundamentally lacking, and I want to know if you feel the same or if you see that problem with it like I do. So let me know in the comments, please. I would very much appreciate that. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out my growing collections of analysis, art, and fiction. You can also visit mjmunoz.com/support to check out my latest designs and more. I welcome critique to improve my craft, so don't hold back any comments you have for me. I leave you with peace and blessings. This is MJ, signing out.